Hi everyone, and thank you for joining us for our second coffee break video. Today we're going to be talking about a little bit of research that I've just published. Well, I haven't. Freshdesk have helped, who've sponsored it, and it's looking at some of the technologies and tools that are kind of being adopted and implemented in the wider industry. The one that's jumped out for me is automation. So it's here. Do get in touch if you want a copy of this research. I'm sure we can get it over to you. Automation capabilities. 62% of service desks are now proactively looking to automate their ITSM tool. So for me, this kind of changes what service desk analysts are going to be doing in the future. We've seen a massive adoption in self-service, self-help, and if we're automating that at the back end as well, their work's going to change. Are you guys seeing anything in the industry that...
I think the important point here is that actually that's great for customers.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the automation part is going to drive efficiency for IT, but it's also going to drive customer satisfaction. For me, service desk roles are very many and varied. So we see all sorts of variation in what service desk analysts have to do. But at the heart of it, what the service desk analyst does is provide value to the business.
Sure.
So in other words, understands what the business is trying to achieve and can have those conversations that actually help that. So for me, the automation part takes away the more mundane routine parts of what they're doing and really allows them to focus on business relationship management, which is where I see service desk going in the future. It's all about BRM.
And we're talking about driving down the low value reactive support with self-service, self-help and automation.
Yeah, the frustrations for customers, quite frankly. So it's the really frustrating stuff, and if you've got a good service desk with a good relationship with your business, they see that as IT is trying to improve the services that we're offering. And then they want to talk to the service desk about the other stuff, so it's the less routine stuff, and it's the real frustrations in terms of technology supporting business activities. So if the service desk are on the floor, having those kind of conversations, the business flies because you've got that real insight. So that's my rather proactive view of where the service is going.
I totally agree. I love automation. I think if you work in this industry, indeed. If you work in this industry, I think one of the hardest things to do is trying to mitigate human error. So when you've got processes and you've got stuff that isn't connected, where there's not stuff integrated, then there's potential for human error. That ultimately costs money, and it costs that reputation, brand reputation, and it really impacts on the experience of the customer too. We're seeing an awful lot more energy in tool integration. We're seeing a lot more certainly from the vendor community and how their tools can integrate. But we're seeing a want from organisations to understand how to make that end-to-end thing, that life cycle, whatever you want to call it, as efficient as possible, as cost efficient and value efficient as possible. So we've seen a lot of that. We're lucky enough because we go out an awful lot to customers through the certification programme, and we see some brilliant stuff out there, some brilliant stuff that organisations thinking very cleverly about how to proposition service. So yeah, I agree. I
would also say though, not everybody can afford the big fancy tool that is integrated with everything else, and the technology is not, that isn't the only thing we see. We do see an awful lot of service desk analysts who provide fantastic value to their organisation without any of the integration.
So that's an interesting point. So what tends to happen is, as far as tool trends go, is a new feature comes and everyone wants it, but it's quite expensive. With automation, there seems to be signs of it becoming just cheaper and more widely available, so it's going to be harder to avoid automation. I've intentionally used avoid because some service desks look at it as a threat to what they do in the day-to-day. So they think if it takes away that reactive support, we're out of a job. Whereas actually you touched on deliver that proactive support. So low value stuff gone. Let's engage with the business and figure out what else we can offer.
So the perception for me of I don't want to lose my password resets because actually then my first line fix will go down and then I won't have a job. That's an
exact argument that I've seen in action.
Yes. So what we don't want that. So that's for me.
Doesn't it? It stops though organisations and service management sort of becoming something else. Do you know what I mean? It stops the what's the word? It stops the evolution. The evolution of stuff.
It absolutely doesn't. And who wants to sit and do password resets all day long? So for me, it's about your role as an analyst is you are a professional. This is a profession you're in. If it can be automated, it probably should be automated from a customer's perspective. You are there to support the customer. So you're the customer advocate.
I think we're going to break this up into two videos. You touched on something I really want to discuss in depth, so how this is going to impact analysts.
Yes, I want to talk about
how they're managed and also customers. And I've got a specific name for it. If you've read my blog, you've probably laughed at the name.
I've read it.
I don't like it.
Come come on. So I think that's enough for this video. We'll do a second part actually, because we've touched on a lot of really interesting things. So join us for the second part, covering this piece of research and what it means for our industry. Thanks, Dave and Carla.
Thank you.